It's the second deadliest hurricane to hit the mainland United States in 50 years. Hurricane Helene has left a trail of destruction that is still only being uncovered a week later. Crossroads Cares has joined with a trusted partner to help those devastated by the storm. Joining me with more is Forhetz. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Cheryl. Good to be with you.
It's so good to be with you. Now, you're with Convoy of Hope, someone we partnered with in the past and such a trusted partner. You were actually with the advance team in Florida, ground zero, when the hurricane was heading right towards you. What happened?
Yeah, it was interesting. We were in Tallahassee, which we thought was going to be ground zero for this Category 4 hurricane. It ended up hitting about an hour to the east of Tallahassee, which was good news for Tallahassee because it's the population center of the Big Bend of Florida, state capital of Florida. So it missed the majority of the people there. But it did hit Perry and Steinhatchee, two areas that we've been twice in the last 18 months. So they've been hit very hard by three now hurricanes in the last 18 months. So we initially set up our distribution of relief supplies, water and food and hygiene items and cleaning supplies, all the sorts of things we give out in the immediate aftermath of a storm like that. But then we began getting calls and hearing about the damage that was being done farther to the north in Georgia and in North and South Carolina and Tennessee and Virginia. And we started sending supplies from our World Distribution Center in Missouri to those locations and dropping that supply off at churches. And then the need just kept growing, especially in North Carolina. And that's where we're seeing the extent of the damage now. That's where the majority of the damage happened, which is odd for a Category 4 storm to cause that much damage so far inland away from where it hit the coast.
I think everybody was shocked by that, to hear what's happening in North Carolina. And you are actually in your World Distribution Center. I've been there. It is a gigantic warehouse. I don't know how many trucks you have in there, but that's the only truck left. Like literally you've sent every truck out.
Yeah, these are about the only two vehicles left out of about almost 100 vehicles that we have in this garage. We've got teams working right now in Florida and in North Carolina. In addition to that, we are sending truckloads, semi-truckloads of supply to South Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, and Georgia. So it has been very, very busy at Convoy of Hope since this storm hit. We've sent out more than 60 truckloads of supply already, and we have a lot more scheduled to go out.
800 miles of destruction. I can't even imagine how you're going to help everybody. Obviously, you're trying to respond to the most desperate right now. Now, in North Carolina, roads are out, power is out, cell signals are out. What is the challenge of responding in a situation like that?
That is the challenge because these semis are the major way that we move our product in and out, our relief supplies to people. So that's been a challenge for Convoy of Hope to overcome, is figure out ways to get the supply to people who are cut off by water. They're in Asheville and they can't get in or out. So the problem has been getting our supply there. We're trying to find helicopters and airlines that will fly the product in. And that's something that doesn't happen in the United States very often. In fact, I can't remember it happening where we have to airlift our supply to a city in the United States. That's happened overseas before, but not here. So that's very striking. But what we're doing is we partner with churches mainly. They're our number one partner. And because there are several churches in every community across the country, really around the world, they become our eyes and ears. They become our volunteers whenever we need to distribute supplies. So we're taking these truckloads, getting them to churches in the area. Those churches are now breaking down the items into smaller, more portable ways of transportation and driving them on back roads to places that these big trucks can't get to get the supply to the people who so desperately at this point need it.
I know it's amazing to see churches mobilize. They are the heart and soul of every community. And of course, they want to make a difference. Now, I'm reading in North Carolina, mules delivering aid of a hospital without water that dug a well. It feels like we're going back 100 years. Even disaster survival people are saying they've been to dozens and dozens of disasters and they've never seen this kind of destruction, this level of whole towns, whole power grids gone. What do you see the recovery looking like in the weeks to come?
Well, it's going to be a very long recovery. I mean, when you talk about rebuilding power grids and starting from scratch, that's a long process. A lot of these roads and bridges are gone. You have to replace those, and that doesn't happen fast. It's not easy to build a bridge that is a long-term bridge that can stand the test of time. So this is going to be a very long response. Fortunately, Convoy does long-term response as well. For example, we're still working long-term in Maui following the wildfires you remember from last summer. So Convoy of Hope is good at that. We work places after the television cameras leave and the attention of the country and the world leaves that area. Convoy of Hope likes to work and continue to minister to people. And oftentimes that's through churches because we want to empower the local church to be the church, capital C, in that community, to be able to minister to the needs of the people, because we know that eventually these trucks are going to come back to our World Distribution Center here in Springfield. But the church is going to be in that community. It's going to be the beacon of light in that community that people can turn to the next time there's a crisis. And the church will be able to minister to their greater needs, which are, of course, their spiritual needs.
Yeah, we love partnering with the church as well. That's why we make such great partners here at Crossroads Cares. Now, you're going to see people, and you're headed right back out again, who are experiencing something they could never have imagined in their life. How are people responding when you show up with aid?
Well, number one, they're grateful. But they're also, you could tell they're at wit's end. We had a lady come through our line in Perry, Florida, our first day of distribution. So that would have been on Saturday. I get my days mixed up. It's been a whirlwind. But she came through our distribution line. She lived on an island that was very close to where we were along the coast in Florida, and her home, storm surge wiped her out. Her home was still standing, but it was uninhabitable. So much water and damage and destruction. She was in tears, and our volunteer in the line got to speak with her, offer words of encouragement, because I've found personally that many times the people who go through the line, the thing that affects them the most is not the actual physical product. Yes, they need water and food and hygiene items, and they're grateful for that. But what they get the most out of is the personal touch that we're able to offer, the arm on the shoulder, the prayer, if they're willing to be prayed for. Those are the sorts of things that really affect people in a positive way. It's the personal connection that we're able to give people to say, hey, listen, we're with you. You're going to get through this. We're praying for you. And we want you to know that we came all the way from Missouri, the middle of the country, down here to Florida to help you. And we're happy to do it.
Oh, we're so thankful that you are there and that you are just ministering and encouraging people the way that you are. Thanks so much for joining us. And if you're watching this and you've been watching the news and your heart has been touched, we want to ask you right now to participate with us. Prayer is important. Of course, we need to be praying, even for people like Convoy of Hope, who are risking their lives in many cases to get to people, churches that are risking their lives to get to people, to make sure that people get the help they need. And we also need the finances. This is 800 miles of destruction. It is a gargantuan task, and so many people have not even been reached yet. We don't even know how many people have died. If you have any resources available to help us, we would so love for you to partner with us right now in Convoy of Hope. Will you give us a call, 1-800-265-3100. You can also give online at crossroads.ca/Helene, and that will get those gifts right to the front lines as soon as possible. We are working on that today. So if you can help, we would so appreciate it. And thank you for your faithfulness to care for our neighbors as they're going through something that is really unprecedented in the history of the United States. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ethan, for taking a moment out of this work right now to join us and bring us this update.
Thank you for the time. We appreciate you and your viewers.
Thanks.